Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Friday edition of For FSU Weather. I'm Tom Mazzetti.
I'm Ulises Garcia.
How's everybody doing tonight? Today we're going to be talking about the nice weather that came through at a cold front.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We also got the Super Bowl and a couple other stuff going on in the country as well.
But for tonight, we have a show. The College of Music has been putting on a biannual event. It's called the Festival of New Music, right, Ulises?
Oh, yeah. So they're going to have music from the last decade, and it's actually going to be starting tonight, but it will also continue all day tomorrow on Saturday.
Plenty of events with full concerts and full orchestras and stuff like that. Some young composers and old composers. Some very interesting music. I'm going myself.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff, good tunes all around, especially on this nice, beautiful weekend that we're having.
And we also, Sunday, we're going to have a basketball game, men's basketball game, 4:30 against no other than
the University of Miami Hurricanes.
So if you're not going to check out the Super Bowl, we can take a look at that. And, the game's at 4:30, so even if you want to catch those Super Bowl commercials, you might be able to do some of that.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that. Hopefully the Noles will win as they continue their march in the ACC conference schedule.
Yeah, so it's going to be nice. We're going to expect some weather coming at us later this weekend. It should be some rain coming, and we're going to take a closer look, right, Ulises?
Oh, yes. We're going to take a bit of a closer look of those weather conditions and some of that rain as we send it over to Shane with our overview.
Thanks, guys. We have had some awesome weather today. Check out the satellite binders. We had a few passing clouds starting to move into our region, bit of an indicator that things are about to change. But for the most part, today was a day of beautiful sunny skies. Let's look at where our current temperatures stand right now across the Big Bend. 62 here in the capital, 57 in Quincy, 60 over there in Mariana, and 62 in Apalachicola. Pretty uniformly sitting around the 60-degree mark across the whole Big Bend right now. So let's break down tonight's show for you. We've got sunshine in store tomorrow, but Sunday is where things begin to change a little bit. The rain will begin on Sunday, and then Monday's going to be a bit warmer, but also a wet day as well. But before we get there, let's talk tonight here in Tallahassee. We're calling for a low of 34 degrees when we get up tomorrow morning, if anyone's getting up that early, under mostly clear skies with light winds and similar conditions around the whole region, 35 in Thomasville, Bainbridge, and Quincy. So what do you think about those temperatures at the desk, guys?
It's going to feel a little bit nippy waking up on that Saturday morning for that morning jog, but however, we're going to talk a little bit about weather history.
Yeah, in 1989, Minnesota, Chateau, there was a crazy wind event. Tell us a little more.
Yeah, the winds were blowing up to 124 miles per hour, very strong winds that day.
That's insane. That's like hurricane force winds, strong hurricane force winds, and that wasn't during any tropical events there.
No, yeah, I mean Category 3 to be more exact in that Saffir-Simpson scale. There's actually some tropical weather to talk about.
Yeah, talk about the southern hemisphere. In the Indian Ocean, we have tropical cyclone Eunice heading southeast, and it's bringing some extreme weather there.
Yeah, it's actually the winds up to 160 miles per hour, a Category 5, and it's actually been the second Category 4 or higher storm developing in the southern Indian Ocean in the last 3 weeks.
But luckily, there's no land threat. It's just going to be traveling across the middle of the ocean, die out as it goes on. But we're going to pass it over to Jonathan with a look around Tallahassee.
No tropical cyclones here today, but it did feel a little bit tropical today, especially in the afternoon. We got up into the middle 60s, which is slightly above average for today. But last night, we had clear skies, and it dropped down to 41 degrees, a little bit lower than we were expecting, and it rocketed right back up. But we had some clouds roll in during the mid-morning hours, which dropped the temperatures just a little bit as those clouds moved through, and then we cleared out to partly cloudy skies this afternoon and climbed up to into the mid-60s. We're sitting just below 60 degrees right now with mostly cloudy skies. Look at that dew point, though, 29 degrees. There's a 30-degree spread there. That means it's really dry outside. You're going to want to bring the chapstick if you're heading out tonight. And those northerly winds are feeling a little bit on the cool side. It's going to be a little bit breezy tonight, but those temperatures are going to drop over the next few hours. Clouds are going to hold in the heat for now, but these are also going to clear out. I think we're going to have a couple of breaks in the clouds, which is going to allow us to drop down. And these winds are also going to allow us to drop down. These are coming straight off of an iceberg here. 7-mile-an-hour winds out of the north. And this is for just about everybody. So temperatures are going to drop down into the 30s this evening and into the early morning hours tomorrow. Look at all this wind here. The longer the wind arrow here, the stronger the wind. This is in the 50s right now. Look at the time clock there at 8 o'clock tonight as we head through the overnight hours. Those blues signify 30s and maybe even some 20s way up into Georgia, but mainly in the 30s. But these winds are going to start to veer out of the south and east as we head through the day tomorrow and into Saturday and Sunday. Look at this. Winds are starting to come out of the east by the day on Sunday, and that's kind of a sign of the things to come. We're going to start to warm up during the day on Sunday. Look at the winds coming out of the south now as we head into the day on Monday. These winds are going to start to pick up as we head into Monday. Southerly winds means rain is on the way, and that's what we're expecting for the day on Monday afternoon and into Tuesday, and then again towards the middle part of the week. Tonight, though, we're looking at 34 degrees with chilly skies, a few clouds passing through, but mainly clear as we head towards sunrise. North-northeast winds at 5 miles per hour. That's bringing in some cooler air, but we'll warm right up back to where we were, similar to today, 64 degrees with sunny and seasonable conditions. East wind, that's significant because that's going to allow us to warm up on your day on Monday, but there is a cool front coming through on Sunday night into Monday morning with a strong rain chance, 80% chance of rain there Monday morning. And then as we head into Tuesday, slightly cooler on Tuesday, but we get back into the rain chance on Wednesday as a slightly stronger cool front comes in on Wednesday and then continues into Thursday. Warming up on Wednesday, 65 degrees, slightly cooler, and models are still out for now, but we'll be cooling down just a little bit as we head into the next week. Never too early to plan for the next Friday, but for now we're going to talk with Matt on the southeast. How's it looking, Matt?
Well, John, the southeast, we're just going to broaden our view just a little bit here. And the story of today, if you were outside, you felt it, and that's that high winds. You felt the gusts. It was really feeling, as John put it earlier, like those winds are coming right off a glacier. Well, right now, things have calmed down just a little bit, and as we continue on into the night, those will continue to calm down, and those winds will start to shift around a little bit as well. But let's take a look at that 24-hour temperature change, because this is what we saw across the southeast. Right up in here near Alabama, down into Mississippi and Louisiana, we saw that frontal passage over the evening, over the day yesterday, and that brought in a lot cooler air into those areas, and just more of reinforcement here as we see. We didn't change very much. Then down, even into Miami, you were up a few degrees from 24 hours yesterday. Current conditions as you walk on outside around the southeast, really, it's sunny down on the peninsula, a couple of clouds around here in Tallahassee, but overall we're feeling great. And really the 40s and the 50s, of course, down in South Florida, your beach weather as always this time of year. But let's take a look at one other thing that's really important, this dew point, because as John put it earlier, it's chapstick weather once again as those dew points started to tank as the front and the dry air started to get pushed on into our area. But that's going to change with an increase in our moisture. And here's where that increase does come, because we have situated over us right now all this green, that moisture starting to push on into the southeast, and that's all due to a rather large system over the southwestern plains that will start moving into our area and provide a little bit of an increase in moisture. So as you can see here on satellite, we saw that front dip on through, and then the cloud covers start to increase once again as that moisture factor starts to increase. But let's take a look and see what's going to be happening over the next few days here in the southeast. We have that front situated just behind me. That's going to start pushing on down, and then this moisture, that's going to start to move in. And why is this moisture moving in? Well, those winds are going to shift around, and out from the Gulf, we have that warm Gulf humid air colliding with that Arctic air mass, and that's going to create quite a bit of storm activity and even some snowfall up in the northern plains just a little bit more, because, well, as those winds, as the moisture collides, we'll start to see that moisture come into our area as well. But no snowfall here, and really nothing too severe expected at all, but maybe a bit of a washout. We're planning for a possible 80% chance of rain moving on into the week. But as that continues to happen, those moisture will push in, and tonight it's going to dip down into the 30s once again, and tomorrow it's going to rebound very nicely into the mid-60s, so head on outside. But Tom, Ulysses, what you got going on here?
We are going to be talking about something going on in Arizona on Sunday night, right, Ulysses?
Yes, Super Bowl 49.
Patriots versus the Seahawks. Seahawks going for their second Super Bowl, right?
Yes, second in a row, actually, and the Patriots are actually trying to go for their fourth just in this millennium.
Yeah, so the weather out there for those tailgaters, even though it is an indoor stadium, we're going to be seeing high 60s, low % chance of rain for the morning, and as the afternoon comes, tell them what's going to happen, Ulysses.
Well, once the afternoon comes, it's going to be game time. They're going to be indoors and watching those games, but it'll be an excellent day overall just to cook up some burgers and hot dogs out there.
Yeah, it'll be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC for you, and I know the most thing exciting for me is the commercials, right, Ulises?
Yeah, the commercials, and also remember, Katy Perry's on the halftime show too.
All right, so let's pass it out to you, Casey, with Look at National.
Thanks, guys. Taking a look across the country right now, we do see there's quite a bit of snowfall out toward the Super Bowl, in fact, and just to the northeast of that, and rainfall near Phoenix at the Super Bowl. Near Glendale, they're getting pretty heavy rainfall in toward that area, making for a damp day around Glendale and around Arizona. We'll watch that in toward Super Bowl Sunday to see how that persists. Also looking north central, we have some snow in northeast. I'll dive into this in a minute or two. We're looking at some snowfall in that area, though. Here, we're all clear. Now, taking that closer look here, we do see there's no precipitation in our area. Really nice weather conditions here on your Friday. Really nice evening across the area. After that cool front pushed through, it cooled things off just a little bit here across our area. But nice conditions are abound here on this Friday. Now, going ahead and taking a look at the northeast, though, we do see snowy conditions. Boston getting into snow. They had all that snow earlier this week. They're getting more snow. Once again, we're talking about the eastern Massachusetts, down toward Hartford, Connecticut as well, New York City, just on the edge of a few flurries right now. Not too big of a factor in toward those areas. But let's get even closer in here in toward Maine. We see there's a really situation that's pretty serious in toward these areas of Augusta getting heavy snow right now, and Bangor getting some pretty heavy snow as well. These areas could get another 8 to 14 inches of snow over the next little bit here at the end of this area, from this area of low pressure that's sitting off the coast here, bringing them into some of this snow. Now going to the southwest, focusing this on this just a little bit. We see Phoenix right on the edge of some light rain right now. Again, maybe disrupting some Super Bowl activities. Albuquerque, northwest, they're getting into some light to moderate snow. Denver, just to the southwest near Colorado Springs, in fact, there's some snowfall there. We're watching that in toward those areas of southern Colorado. Now, you can see our watches and warnings here. This right here, we're talking about a wind chill advisory. Temperatures getting very cool, and I'll dive into those in a moment. Our main concern is the winter storm warning for much of Maine. Again, 8 to 14 inches of snow expected in toward those areas. Pretty serious there. And then this area out here, the winter storm watch out toward like Columbus, Ohio, getting out further to the west, Indianapolis, Indiana. This is a sign of things to come here, as there's a winter storm expected to move in toward these areas. Winter storm warnings near Albuquerque as well. We're watching those very closely in toward those areas. Now going ahead and kind of taking a look at the temperatures right now, 59 Tallahassee, but again, much cooler though, the northeast part of the country, only 19 degrees in toward those areas. You can see we have cooler weather coming. That's going to be the impacting system into our area as we get later into the weekend here, maybe bringing us a chance for some rain. 33 tonight here, temperatures much cooler, like 10 degrees in Detroit. Tomorrow, 64 degrees here, much cooler in toward the northeast. We'll keep an eye on the national weather picture for you, but right now we'll go ahead and take it over to Ulises with a local look at the situation.
Oh, thanks, Casey. As we look at the almanac for this Friday, we were pretty much right on the money when it came to our high at 64 degrees. Our morning low, we were that far off, just 2 degrees under our 2 degrees over that mark for this time of the year. Pretty much right on the money is the key word for today. Temperatures at this hour, upper 50s towards the inland regions at 55 in Quincy, 54 in Thomasville. But you see those temperatures are beginning to tumble, especially in Thomasville at 54. Towards the coast, trying to hang on to those 60s at 64 in St. Mark's and even 62 degrees in Apalachicola. Satellite and radar throughout the Big Bend. A lot of cloud cover early this morning with that frontal system passing through and a couple of sprinkles near St. Mark's and just to the point south. But now we're beginning to see that clear. That will allow us to drop those temperatures further down into those 30s tonight as we go into our Saturday morning. Very chilly overall. Those winds coming out of the north is also going to reinforce that chilly and cold air. Overall, relatively light right now. A bit stronger earlier today. Mostly now around the 5-mile-per-hour mark. But those winds will begin to die down, allowing for that push of cold air to continue to sink even further down. But those winds will begin to be noticeable in those changes in the next 24 hours. By the time we get into our Saturday, we're going to begin to see a moderating trend of those winds be coming more out of the east for our Saturday. And by the time we get into our Sunday, you notice that a lot more oranges are beginning to form all throughout the state. Those 70s, especially in Miami, all the way to Orlando and Tallahassee, even that southerly wind will will begin to push us more into the middle to even upper 60s before that next frontal system comes in on our Monday, bringing us some rain in the early morning hours. The boating forecast, winds out of the east at 5 to 15 knots. It's going to be a light to moderate chop. Overall, it's going to be a decent day just to go out sailing. Just remember those waters are still cold because we are in late January, and also those sunset times continue to get a lot later in the day, which is excellent news as we go deeper and deeper into the late winter. Tonight, temperatures continue to fall into the 30s, 34 in Tallahassee, 35 in Quincy, a little bit warmer towards the coast at 42 degrees in Apalachicola, but it's going to be a mostly clear night, just enjoying those stars out there, folks. It's going to be beautiful, and those great times continue as we go into our Saturday. Very seasonable for this time of the year. 65 in St. Mark's, 63 in Carabel, 62 in Bainbridge. A lot of sunshine. King is supreme, and some of that will also continue as we go into our Sunday, but those conditions will begin to change by the time we get into the evening. 60% chances. Those rain chances will continue after the Super Bowl ends. More rain on Monday before it fades out. More rain continuing on Wednesday and Thursday with the next frontal system. So just remember, folks, it's going to be seasonable. Temperatures on the cool side in the morning hours. But just remember, have an umbrella and shades handy on and off. And now we're going to send it over to the desk with Casey and Matt.
All right, thank you so much, Ulysses. It's nice to see that the sunny skies are prevailing here, but that's definitely a big change, big difference from what the Northeast has been seeing over the last few days. And you touched on that a little bit in your national.
Yeah, we were talking about Bangor to Augusta getting very heavy snow, a winter storm warning there. The area's getting 8 to 14 inches of snow, and this is in addition to the winter storm earlier in the week that provided them with a lot of snow as well.
And we don't want to beat this winter storm to death, but really they're getting hammered over and over and over again in the Northeast.
Yeah, pretty serious situation up there. We're talking about very high snowfall totals as we count what happened earlier in the week with what happened now, especially in Ward, Maine.
That's right. A possibility of another 6 to 12 inches in Maine. And John's actually going to talk about that a lot more in depth in a little bit. But for right now, we're going to send it out to Ulysses to talk about what's going on around the sunny Florida.
Oh, yeah. So actually, some of those changes that we talked about in the local are going to continue to go further south into Florida. In the last 24 hours, that cool air from that cold front is beginning to enter Pensacola with a 4-degree drop from 24 hours ago. Some of that warmth, however, is still hanging on towards the southeast coast of Florida with 3 degrees over in Miami and 1 degree plus in West Palm Beach. Temperatures right now, lower 70s in Miami, 69 in West Palm Beach. Mostly cloud cover throughout majority of the state except for Orlando at 69 degrees. But the frontal system right now is situated over the central portion of the state. That water vapor, you notice some of that green, which is actually that moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere. But with that front passing by, there's actually a lot of low humidity over Tallahassee. So have that chapstick and lotion with you from Pensacola to Jacksonville. And this will all begin to further sink towards the south as we go into our Saturday and into our Sunday before some of that moisture returns late on Sunday. Saturday night radar reinforcing that frontal system just passing over the central portion. It will be arriving towards Miami by the time we get into the late hours, but overall no precipitation whatsoever. Great drive on I-95. Beautiful way to start the Super Bowl weekend. Those winds coming out of the north all throughout the state, beginning to come out of the northwest at West Palm Beach at 6 miles per hour, 10 in Key West. So great winds overall. It's going to be a chilly night for majority of the state. Definitely going to feel that pinch if you had it last night. Let's take a closer look at those temperatures, how much they're going to be pinching. 56 right now in Jacksonville. By the time we go into the overnight hours, 31, 29 in Tallahassee. But as you go towards the southern part of the state, it's still showing a bit of that warm air. 65 in Miami, 66 in West Palm Beach, but definitely majority of the state feeling those blues with those 40s all the way down to Fort Myers. By tomorrow, we see those temperatures spike back up. 57 in Tallahassee, 66 in Orlando, 72 in Miami. So kind of a uniformity with warmth in the south and cool in the north. By the time we go into Sunday, however, those temperatures take another bit of a dive. However, the warmth will begin to spread a lot more further and a lot more quicker. 67 in Tallahassee, 70s all throughout the rest of the state. A lot of uniformity all around. Beautiful all throughout. Tonight, temperatures are going to fall to 35 degrees in Jacksonville, 37 in Pensacola, 59 in Miami, 47 in Orlando. Just remember to watch out for those rip currents, especially if you're going to go out to the beach tomorrow over the eastern waters of the Atlantic from Jacksonville down to Miami, and also the rip currents. So because there's a small craft advisory in effect, but temperatures very beautiful, a lot of sunshine all throughout, 64 degrees. And let's send it over to Jonathan with our look of the local.
We're going around to the winter weather update now. Here, nothing here, anything close to being wintry around the region, but there's a lot of wintry weather going around the country. But first, I wanted to start with this fire hose across the southern parts of the U.S. There's a low pressure center just coming into the southwest now, pumping in a lot of moisture from the Pacific, and this jet stream is just hosing it in across the south and east. And that's what we saw here today with those high clouds around the region, and that's actually going to be the foundation for some storms later in the week here over towards the end of the weekend. But look at all this moisture here. This is going to feed into another storm that we'll talk about at the end of this segment that's going to come into the Midwest and really amp up the snow chances across the upper Midwest from I-70 to I-80. Look at all this, some snow falling across the Albuquerque area and across northern New Mexico. But the big focus over the last week or so has been across the north and east. And I want to jump into that really quick because look at all this snow across Maine, 8 to 14 inches of snowfall expected with this storm alone. This is storm number 1, folks. This is going to be the first one that's going to kick out sometime tomorrow and just bring in 8 to 14 inches from this point into tonight and into tomorrow before it really moves out, bringing some snowflakes to Worcester, over towards Boston, reporting snow at this hour, and some more snow back towards the Finger Lake region. Actually, I want to zoom in on this area now. Winds are just along these lakes, the fetch coming out of the north, bringing in snowflakes around Elmira over towards Binghamton and down towards the south. Just warm enough there for some snowflakes flying across that region, but not warm enough to keep those wind chills at bay. That iceberg that I talked about earlier, that's up in Canada. You can trace that all the way back towards the north and east. Everything here in this teal color is wind chill advisory. Those wind chills are going to be closer to -20 during the overnight hours tonight, and winds upwards of 50 miles an hour gusting there along the mid-Atlantic. Lake effect wind advisory here, bringing in some snow across the Finger Lake region. Winter storm warnings in effect for the most of Maine, or all of Maine and most of New Hampshire. That's due to that snow that is expected. But here's storm number 2. We're kind of in between storms in New York State and New Jersey as well. But back towards the west, here's this winter storm watch. This is for the next storm. That's that storm that I talked about in the southwest. Everything here from Peoria over towards mid-Ohio, up towards possibly even Cleveland, and down towards Cincinnati, between 6 and 8 inches there across the Midwest over the next couple of days as this next system moves off towards the east. Here's how this is going to look. This is that storm system that's going to start to crank up during the next day or so and really come off towards the east. And look at all this snow here between I-70 and I-80 moving off towards the east. And look at that go. That's going to come into the Boston area by early parts of next week. 33 degrees here in Tallahassee. That storm system gets here Sunday into Monday and really warms things up. But we're going to head back with a little bit of Florida history now as we head into February. That's our severe weather month here in Florida. And back in the 1970s is when we had some of that tornadic activity here in the Big Bend.
That's right, John. Let's get right into that. 1974, a tornado touchdown near Hinton, Florida, also near Concord, Florida. Now, this is in northern Gadsden County to the north of the city of Havana.
Absolutely, and it did cause quite a bit of damage, I'm correct, right?
Yeah, we're talking about several mobile homes being destroyed, also major damage to the Concordia Baptist Church, summer homes being damaged as well.
Absolutely, and this does bring up, as John was talking about, this is Severe Weather Awareness Week we got coming up in a couple weeks here, and definitely got to get those plans prepared because severe weather can roll on through at any time.
Yeah, starting next Monday, we'll be keeping track of that here on the Weather Show throughout next week. But right now, let's go ahead and take it over to our third local forecast with Tom.
All right, everybody, thank you very much. Here we go. We're seeing these clouds just kind of coming in from the north there. That's with that northerly wind. We don't really see any rain for today. Clear day. We had a little bit of precipitation in the Gulf of Mexico from that cold front that passed at about 2 p.m. today. It didn't bring us any rain. Just those cooler temperatures are going to be diving at us a little bit. Not too cold, though. But we're going to have to bundle up for these nice, beautiful weekend here coming. But we're going to take these winds. 7 miles an hour in Tallahassee, 5 in Quincy. And these winds are what's going to bring that cool temperatures in for us. And eventually we're going to see these turn around coming from the south. And that's where we're going to see that rain come out of later this weekend. Right now, 59 degrees on campus right here, walking across campus. Very nice, 29-degree dew point. And then winds 7 miles an hour out of north. Keep a little breezy still, so you might want to bring that wind coat out instead of that fluffy hoodie you got there. So around the Big Bend, pretty consistent temperatures, a little bit cooler to the north and warmer to the south like we usually expect. Warmer by the Gulf of Mexico there, and it's very consistent temperatures in the wintertime on the coast there. But we're looking at surf on in the Apalachicola Bay, about 1 foot, less than 1 foot actually, 5 to 10 knots wind for you, and the water 56 degrees. That is really cool. Summertime we see that water get up to 80 degrees, and we see Apalachicola Bay. There's that water in between Apalachicola and Perry. It cools off very fast in the wintertime, and that's a lot of reason why we don't see a lot of rain when we in the exact Tallahassee area when those cold fronts come through. But we're going to see this moisture coming through the end of the weekend. It's Saturday in the morning, so tomorrow morning, and it's going to just keep moving on through the afternoon into the evening. And we're going to see as Sunday comes around, those that moisture is going to come right back in and give us a treat there. But tonight we're looking at 34 degrees, mostly clear with those clouds clearing behind that cold front we had today, and some chilly temperatures for you there, 34 degrees. That's almost freezing, so I expect in some of the areas around town, closer to the airport and into the more rural areas, we're going to see those temperatures dive into the freezing. Might have some frost on your car in the morning, and that's pretty fun. I remember one time I was in Virginia chipping the ice off of a car in a winter storm. Not so fun, but at least we don't have to worry about that here. Chilly start tomorrow, 8 a.m., 39 degrees, a little bit cloudy. High clouds mainly. Cool afternoon at 12 p.m. there at 54 degrees, 56, a little bit warmer by the time we get close to sunset. And it's going to be beautiful tomorrow, just like it is every other day in Tallahassee, because we're in Tallahassee, right? Go Seminoles. See those rain come back by Sunday evening into Monday. 80% chance of rain there. You might want to bring an umbrella with you. And on Tuesday, going to clearing. And as Wednesday evening approaches, we're going to see some more storms come at you. The Wednesday storms have a little bit more potential for some thunder action. So we might want to use that 30-30 rule there. If you hear thunder within 30 seconds and 30 miles away, don't go outside for 30 minutes. And we're going to pass it to the desk for a closing segment.
All right, thank you, Tom. It's really great to bring in Friday here. We're going to be ushering in February here on Monday, and the weather is going to be nice this weekend up until Sunday. That's when things start to go downhill.
Yeah, we'll be keeping track of that. Some rain in toward our forecast there. We're talking about that on a 7-day forecast here in just a little bit. Also, there's severe weather awareness week next week. We kind of got into that just a little bit here as we keep track of what's going to happen with the potential for severe weather as we get later into the season and in toward the rest of this month, as this is one of the busiest times in severe weather across our area.
Absolutely, and we'll be at the SLC tabling at Into the Storm, so we'll be out there if you want to come say hi to your favorite forecasters. But let's look at that favorite 7-day because it's got some up and down portions.
Yeah, we'll be stacking some cool conditions tomorrow, but warming up a little bit as we get into Sunday and Monday with that chance for rain, and then we have another chance for rain as we go into Wednesday and Thursday.
Absolutely, and we're all over social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter for the latest updates regarding severe weather, and you can also watch us anytime on livestream.com/FSU Weather as well.
Yeah, we'll be keeping track of the weather situation for you. Go and maybe enjoy that basketball game against Miami on Sunday that the Seminoles are playing. But for now, I'm Casey Cloud.
I'm student meteorologist Matthew Reagan. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thanks so much for joining us.